And what is up, guys? Technical Stinkers here, checking in on our little 3D print operation for today. Little about me, I'm just some guy. I'm a retired crisis actor doing 3D printing here at home. I actually own a small business that has nothing to do with 3D printing, but I thought, 3D printers, I was interested in them, but I can't have a hobby that doesn't involve sort of generating some kind of money in some way, shape, or form. Can't just do things for pleasure. So I'm printing things and trying to sell them on the internet and exhibiting what I'm doing day to day or semi-often. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Maybe you can learn from my mistakes as I learn about 3D printers and everything that comes along with it. So what am I working on today? Well, let's see what's on the plates. And so, the Giga, the Orange Storm Giga from Elegoo. Sorry, new camera, I gotta figure out the whole process here. But we were able to make a sale on one of our large skulls, the Smilodon skull, the Sabertooth tiger skull. We actually sold one, and so we're printing up another one for stock. We're doing it all in one go. Got the lower jaw section here and the main skull part here. I'm actually doing this one in 3 wall loops just to avoid some of those other issues I was having with the big skulls, namely the separation on those sharp, sort of flat sort of areas. Dialed up the infill, I think, by like 1%, so I'm running like 3% gyroid. But the wall loops seem to be the difference maker in that process. So that one's running great. And you'll note the Soval up here and Cobra 4 down here. Cobra 3 is stopped because it ran out of filament. Guess I should replace that. We have the concept over here on the P1P, the dab station. You might remember from an episode or two back, I was talking about these dab stations, talking more about selling things in my retail stores. Using the 3D printers and creating products that support the main business. Not so much selling these, but generating products that kind of help and assist and make more money there where money is actually made. So what I'm doing here is we kind of came to a consensus on what dab station would work the best. It's kind of a modification of one of the other ones. Went ahead and put my logo on it and hollowed out a section in the middle. And this is the horse that we're going to be running with. So, got the concept printed here just to make sure that it all, is solid. And what I'm going to do is down here on Cobra 4, I've got just some black ones running. I've got some blue ones here on Cobra 3, and up here on Cobra 1, we need to do a leveling. But what my aim is the same thing I was doing previously, burning up old spools. Because, if you're in 3D printing, you'll end up with spools that are, this has got what, 150 grams on it, about the same here. I got a bunch of these little baby, quarter-kilo spools, things like that. So I'm like, instead of printing these things in one solid color, let's make them a little funky. And that way, when it runs out of filament, we just throw in some other random color. And we have like this multi-layered, multi-color sort of effect. Because again, these are going to be given away or sold for a very, very low amount, maybe a couple dollars profit on each one. But I have a bunch of locations, stock them up, and then hopefully over time it just kind of generates. And more importantly, it keeps the printers moving and operating and giving them something to generate during the downtime. All right, so got the Sabertooth Tiger all packed up and sent out, doing that over on Design 3D. It's kind of odd because I put that video out about I'm not gonna push so hard about just selling these things on Etsy. And as soon as I do that, I get that order. I got like 4 more orders from other places. So I guess that's just how it operates. But within the coming week, I'm gonna be shutting down or putting all my Etsy stores into vacation mode. For my travel, so I don't want orders spilling through as I do that. Some other developments, been working on the Dummy 13 quite heavily here, and I'm planning again to do a separate sort of dedicated content with that. Now I've been working with Roger over at Tenmile Creations, fellow tuber, working on these parts that crack. So the knees and the elbows, man, that's satisfying to do. Trying to fit these together, they just don't scale up, and it just doesn't make sense to me, and Roger was remarking on that as well. Like, I don't see why it wouldn't, because when you create the reasonable sized dummy 13. These, you know, they take a little bit of effort, but they do snap in and they don't usually crack. But when you scale it up, they crack. And I was remarking previously about, you know, like, well, atoms are only a certain size. And then eventually, you know, like it's too much stress for it to handle. So yeah, I was trying to hammer fist the, this is his pelvis and like his lower abdomen, what would be his like, you know, gut. Trying to just hammer fist this in. I got it. I got it in. But it is not without some, you know, light damage. There's actually supposed to be another ball here. It's just hip bones. So, you know, that's a bummer. And, you know, I wasn't using a heat gun on this. Roger mentioned like, well, you know, you just size up the cup, this part a little bigger. The problem is that there's like 20, 30 connections like this, and it would require me to slice the model, size this part up, leave this part normal, times a bajillion, recombine them, reprint everything. I'm gonna try forcing it in first. Heat gun and grease, that's my plan, because I already printed all these parts. I really didn't expect it to be such a pain to get these in. I just thought it would be those certain sections like the knees and hips and whatnot. Although, I will say, camera, you gonna track me? Man, this thing's handy. I love having a cameraman that's that I don't have to pay. I present to you leg. That's right, fully formed, assembled leg. This is the piece that Roger put together for me. Again, thanks for that, dude. Gonna feature him in the dedicated content. But the knees move and articulate. They stay in place. The thigh section, got the foot in place, you know, like the toe moves, the ankle articulates, moves up and down, the hip rotates. It's just a matter of getting all of the rest of it in. But I mean, that was super encouraging that, you gonna stay? You're gonna stay there. And additionally, the rest of the body, I feel like I don't want to give too much of this away because it's gonna detract from the main video, but here's the upper section as well. So, you know, belly, chest, this is where his shoulders would be, obviously the head. But got all this in without too much issue. Did take a lot of effort of hammer fisting, lube. Took a lot of lube, a lot of fisting, and a lot of heat guns. You know, it sounds like a typical Tuesday night at the Technical's house. Say that 5 times fast. Typical Tuesday night at Technical's house. Typical Tuesday night at Technical's house. Anyway, that's what I've been working on here on the 3D print excursion. Really focused on getting this dummy 13 done before I have to leave. I'm kind of up against the wall on it. Plus it's taking over. I mean, you can see it's taking over everything here. It's a complete mess. Smashing pieces and just the mess, the clutter. I can't stand it. I like a clean work environment, and it's just like there's nowhere to put this stuff. I have to be able to see it to know that I need to work on it. And it's just kind of a pain in that regard, but we're making progress day to day. Continue to sell the skulls, continue to replenish backstock, continue to make those dab stations for the main business. Also hope to work on the NFCs as well. Let me know what you're working on in the comments below. And if you've got any tips, tricks, suggestion, or feedback, certainly let me know, especially on how to hammer fist, how to get this thing together, because it's turning out to be a real bear. Anyway, like the video because it's the nice thing to do, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm the Technicals. See you next time.